Welcome to Revent. Today we have Avalaura of Avalaura's Healing Center in College Park, Maryland. Welcome, Ava.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So as you said, I'm the founder and owner of Avalaura's Healing Center right here in the DC metro area. And my background actually is a little bit different. I actually started in social work in the mental health field.
Awesome.
And I guess a little bit about me, my story in terms of just how I got started. Kind of like everybody else, I had this dream. I wanted to go into the healing profession. Counseling was always my thing. And I got out of social work, got my bachelor's degree in psychology, master's degree in social work from Howard University.
Awesome.
And I thought I was going to come out and save the world.
We all want to.
Right? I was like, woo, I'm so excited. I got my master's degree, so now I can change the world. I can do all these big things. And I quickly got into the social work profession and found out maybe that's not quite going to happen that way. So I was actually a program director at an outpatient mental health clinic. And I was doing some therapy, but I realized that I wasn't really going to make a difference there, that there was really a system and a protocol, and in that system and protocol, I was not going to be able to do what was effective. So instead of helping people to heal and grow and change their lives, I was really just helping people to maintain their dysfunction. And that's not what I signed up for. That's not what I worked so hard for. That was never the plan. And so it quickly became, what am I going to do? Am I going to stay here and be miserable each and every day, feel like I'm dying inside, that I'm not making an impact, that I'm not really serving a purpose here?
Right.
Or am I going to have to make a change? And that kind of just became my journey, which sort of led me to Avalaura's Healing Center, and that I kind of just got sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Absolutely. So making that change, what problems are you solving now? Now that you feel as though you have this purpose with your company, what problems are you solving that you couldn't solve at your 9 to 5?
So a lot of the work that I do is helping people who are just like me, who really are big dreamers. They want to make an impact in the world. They're not average. You know what I mean? They don't want to live the average 9 to 5, get a paycheck, go home, go back to work, and just that whole rat race that we call it, this continuous cycle. They want to do something positive. They want to make a difference, even if it's only in their community or their family. It's not, that they're trying to do these major things, but they want to feel like they have a purpose.
Absolutely.
And so a lot of my work is helping people to connect to that. If they are doing some meaningful work, doing it in a bigger way, because as we know, even when you have some level of success, you always want more. You don't want to feel stagnant or feel stuck. And so a lot of my work is helping people to really, as I call it, from a place from whole to wholeness. And that whatever that whole is, whether it's in your relationships, whether it's in your career, your business, but feeling that need, feeling fulfilled and feeling like you're actually living and not just surviving, really.
So what is your process? So what is your process when someone comes in or inquires and say, hey, I need this healing that you're providing? What is your process to getting to that point where they can feel fulfilled?
So a lot of my work is listening. I tell people I listen for a living. That is what I do. So people are like, what do? You have all these titles. I listen. And, and then people ask me, so what's an intuitive consultant? Because when I tell people I'm a life coach and intuitive consultant, they say, well, what's that intuitive part? That's the listening. So when someone comes to me, that's really what I do. I listen to them. I find out who they are, what it is that they want in life, what's missing, what are the things that they can't quite tap into that is eluding them. That's what I listen for. And then it's almost kind of like I'm a doctor and then I make a subscription and say, okay, based on what you're going through, this is my prescription. I'm not giving meds, right? But it might be life coaching. It might be counseling. It might be some healing work. It might be some introspective work. But I really give them a process. And that's really what healing is. It is a process. It's a journey.
Absolutely. So what is the feedback from your customers and the clients that you've been working? What is the feedback that they're saying about what you do?
Yeah, I have really great clients. I do. And I think because most people, when they come to me, they are in the space of they are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they just don't know what to do. They've given up. They kind of feel like I have this dream inside of me, but I have no idea how to give birth to this dream. And so I've tried everything, maybe they've tried counseling before. They've talked to their friends. They've gone on this healing retreat. They've tried meditation. They've tried yoga, right? So they're kind of at their wits' end a lot of times by the time they come to me. And so in a way, it's kind of like I had given up. I was hopeless. And you showed me that there really is hope, that there is a way. It wasn't that they couldn't have what they wanted. It was just that what they were trying to do was not working for them. And so it really, like I said, when you listen to a person and you find out who they are and what it is that they really want, and you introduce that to them, I mean, they're happy. You know, they are more than grateful. So I have amazing clients. I get a lot of good referrals. My clients tend to stick with me even after, you know, they're good.
Exactly.
They want to come back, but they're really grateful. They're happy because now they feel fulfilled. They feel like their life has some meaning for them.
Okay. So when did you start this business, and how has it grown since you started?
Yeah, so what's interesting about that, so just kind of going back to my social work days when I, you know, I was telling you I was really sick and tired of being sick and tired and dreading Mondays.
Mondays, terrible Mondays. Now it's TGIM, you know?
Right, but that couldn't get there fast enough.
Right.
So what ended up happening is I ended up going on this women's retreat.
Okay.
And that was my saving grace. I needed a moment to just woosah, right? To just take some time out for me. Because what happens is when we get really stressed out, that's when we kind of take care of ourselves the least. We kind of forget what's right in front of us because we're so focused on our problems.
Very true.
So when I went to this women's retreat, it just gave me a chance to just get back in tune with myself and get back in balance and do the soulful self-care, as I call it. So I was praying, I was meditating, I was spending time in nature. I was just feeding myself, right? And what happened was I literally had an emotional breakthrough. I broke down and then I broke through. So I found myself on my hands and knees crying out to God, like, I can't live like this anymore. I can't do this. You got to get me out of here. Like, I was like that movie Get Out. Like, get me out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what this is, but this is not living. Right. And so after that happened, you know, I felt good. You know, temporarily feel good after you have this emotional release. You know, I did the ugly cry, all of that. And then I realized, like, oh my God, I gotta go back to work on Monday.
Yeah. It'll do that to you.
You know, like, okay, what am I gonna do?
But you had a breakthrough.
But this is what happened. So I get back to work on Monday. My boss calls me into his office and he fires me. Just like that, out of the blue, no warning, no, Avalaura, I'm not happy with your performance. And I'm sitting there like, me? Who? What? You know, this is a woman, I graduated magna cum laude. I'm, you know, classic overachiever, perfectionist, never been fired from anything in my life. So I'm like, how dare you? You like, how dare you fire me? You know, like, what is going on here? But that was all my ego. You know, it was all my ego, like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. But then what happened is I had a moment where spirit really kicked in and said, Avalaura, why are you upset? Why are you crying? This is what you asked for. This is what you prayed for. So what are you going to do about it? And that became my journey then. What am I going to do about it? And so it was, okay, am I going to take the blue pill and go back into the social work field and just get another job and find myself, discontent again, you know, doing work that's not fulfilling? Or am I going to take that red pill and take that leap of faith and start my own thing? And I took 6 months. I literally took like a 6-month healing sabbatical, as I call it. And I did the work. Who am I? Why am I here? What is it that I can do that nobody else can do? What gifts did God give me that I can truly help people and pour into people and make a difference in this world? And I did the coaching, I did the counseling, everything that I tell my clients to do, I did it. Because I tell my clients, I will never have you do anything that I would not do or have not done. And after that 6 months, I opened up Avalaura's Healing Center, and that was back in 2005.
Wow, that is awesome. So 2015 is when this new process, this new journey for you started, right? So what challenges have you faced? Because every entrepreneur, every business has a challenge. And how did you overcome that?
Yeah. So actually it was 2005. So
2005? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. 2005. Thank you.
So it's been 12 years
12
now.
Years,
so you're absolutely right. So there's been a lot of growth in that time. And what's interesting about my business in this sort of self-help movement, life coaching, healing arts, I tell people when I first started, my client base was completely different. Because when I started, it was sort of, particularly with holistic living, as I'll call it, it was sort of this white hippie thing. You know what I mean? Like Black folks were like, oh no, I don't know what that is. I don't do counseling. I don't do coaching. I don't, yoga. I don't do any of that stuff. And so really my clients were all mostly white men and women. But then as the years, Oprah and, thank God for Oprah, my clientele shifted to now majority Black women. So that sort of shifted how I did my marketing and things like that because my client base shifted as well. So one of the things I had to learn was kind of just going with the flow.
Okay.
And watching the trends and not sort of staying stuck in how things were, but look at kind of how things are moving.
So after overcoming some of those challenges, what has happened that has made it successful at this moment?
Yeah, I think again, listening to my consumer. Finding out what they need, tapping into what's going on with them. And again, just being willing to go with the flow, not staying stuck in what I think is, what I think people need or what I think people want, but actually listening to what they want and need. And I think a lot of business owners stay stuck in, I want to do this, so this is what I'm going to do. But that might not be what your clientele wants. Like, for instance, I started out, I'm a life coach and an intuitive consultant. My background, is in psychology and social work. But every time I walked out this door, I went to the supermarket, I went to the post office, whatever, I got compliments on my head wraps. That has nothing to do with my business, right? But I said, wait a minute. I keep getting compliments on my head wraps from men and women. Maybe I need to start selling some head wraps. I listened and I literally started doing that. And what happened was through selling head wraps, I actually started getting more clients because people are visual. Yes. That was the first thing that they saw. They didn't know who I was or what I did. But when I gave them my card and said, yes, I sell head wraps. Oh, you're a life coach. So I started actually getting more clients from selling head wraps.
Wow. Awesome. So how many clients do you deal with a week now?
Yeah, so I'm a little different.
Okay.
And I'll say that because a lot of sort of the traditional model, when you look at therapists or counselors, they can see anywhere from maybe 20 to 30 clients a week, which I think is a lot. And this is an insurance-based model. So some people are seeing, 5, 6, 7, 8 clients a day, which I think is, when you're doing this type of work where, again, you have to be very present with people, you're listening to people, you're tapping into their problems, and you're helping them to provide a solution, you have to make sure that you're taking care of yourself first. I'm a firm believer in practicing what you preach. So I think that when you see that many people a day, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. You're not really able to take care of yourself. You're drained at the end of the day.
So you're not as effective as you should be with each client.
Correct. Right. So my model has always been, I want fewer clients. Now I have to charge more money, but you're getting a more boutique service. So, when I'm working with a client, it's not per session. You're going to work with me 3 months, 6 months. You know exactly what you're getting. And I am there for you for that 3 to 6 month period.
Right.
So I sort of shifted my model in the kind of, per hour, per rate thing versus 3 months, 6 months, and I may only have 10 clients, but that's plenty.
Right. Because you take your time to kind of create this tailored program for them and say, hey, I'm going to get you from point A to point B. And through that process, you're going to learn and develop something about yourself.
Exactly.
Phenomenal. So as you're transitioning and making these wonderful impacts in the community with people else, what are your plans for 2018? Is there anything that you're going to do different to kind of grow your business and expand your clientele?
Yeah. So one of the things that I started actually at the end of 2017 was my podcast, Avalaura Heal My Life. And I was really excited about that because I do a lot of speaking. And I had a radio show for 2 years at one point, and then I had another radio show. And I said, I have all this content that's sitting there, right? Sitting on my computer, taking up space. What am I going to do with it? And so I decided to start a podcast. And that has been phenomenal. That was probably one of the best things that I ever did. So I want to continue with that. I really love media. I've been doing a lot more speaking. One of my goals is really to get into TV, doing more things like that. Because for me, again, my model is intimacy. So I decided a long time ago, I want to work with fewer people, but how can I still make an impact, with the masses? And I can do that through media.
Absolutely. So what channels, what avenues are you working towards to get to that point? To where you can be yourself, see yourself on TV?
A lot of networking.
Awesome.
A lot of networking.
I mean, that's how it starts.
It is who you know. It's who you make connections with and build relationships with.
Okay. So as you're networking, what advice would you provide to entrepreneurs, small business owners that are trying to get from point A to point B? What advice would you provide?
Yeah. So because I'm in the business of helping people to understand who they are and, really that self-exploration and tapping into you, that's always my advice for entrepreneurs, because I think a lot of people, we focus so much on our business, we lose sight of ourselves. So we focus a lot on the marketing. We focus a lot on, the business cards, what the website looks like, how many networking events that I go to. But is your business, does it fit who you are? Is your business really the model that you want? Like I said, I shifted my model because I understood who I was. I'm not a person that wants to burn out working, with 20, 30 people a week. So I had to do some self-work to figure out who am I, how do I work best, and then shift my model to make that work for me. So I really think that business owners really need to look at that, spend some time with themselves and see what works for them, because a lot of times their business does not work for the lifestyle that they want to create.
So as you're growing your business, do you plan to hire more people, or this is something that you just plan on doing by yourself for the long term?
Yeah, that's another thing. I've managed people in the past. I don't want to manage people.
That
I don't want to manage. So
that
was another thing that I said, okay, I'm not going to have this big empire where I have all these moving parts. I don't want to deal with that. I want to be able to, if I want to travel to Africa tomorrow, I can get up and go.
Right.
That's the kind of business that I need. So for me, I do have people that I work with, but it's really project based. So I have somebody who does my podcast. I have somebody, once I start my live streaming show, they'll be doing the live streaming show. So that's kind of how I work versus having people that I'll hire, full-time employees or things like that. I like having experts in their field and they have specific projects that they work on.
What is one advice that you received from a mentor or someone personal that has helped you become who you are today?
That's one thing. I've had a lot of mentors over the years, a lot. And, there's so much that I've learned from each and every one of them. So it's hard for me to sit here and say, oh my God, what's one thing? Because the beautiful thing is I've always found somebody exactly when I needed them in my journey, which is, because you need different types of mentors, right?
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of times we get stuck in feeling like, okay, I got a mentor, I'm good. But if you want to do TV, you need a mentor in TV. If you want to do radio, you need a mentor in radio. If you want to, do coaching, you need a mentor in coaching. So you need different types of people. But I think, one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is how you really do need help.
Yes.
For a long time in my business, I will tell you, I was winging it. Because again, coming from a social work background, from this mental health background, we're not taught business.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about business. I understand people, but I didn't understand business. So I was winging it. I didn't know what marketing to do. I understood the value of social media and website, but I'll just kind of figure it out. School of hard knocks.
Exactly.
The thing that I wish I had done sooner was get help.
Awesome.
So I think that's one of the biggest lessons that I learned is the value of getting help.
Yep. And I think that's the first thing that needs to be done. In any entrepreneurship journey, you're always going to have those trials and tribulations. Yes. And I think the best thing you can do is reach out for resources. So
absolutely.
That's the best thing you can do.
Welcome to Avalaura's Healing Center. I'm just going to take you on a quick tour. What a lot of people don't know a little bit about this property, it actually started from a vision board. I know vision boards are popular now, but back in 2005, they weren't. I decided that I wanted a property that was secluded, that was in nature, in the woods, and you can see it's in the woods, but also not too far, outside of, where metro and things like that. So I'm here in the College Park area. There's a wonderful metro right off of the Beltway, and it's also very wooded and secluded. All right, so I'm gonna take you all inside. So check out Avalaura's Healing Center. These are all the different services that I offer here. And it's a very intimate space. It's cozy, and that was part of the design. That's what I wanted. I wanted a feeling of intimacy. I wanted it to be comfortable, nurturing. So all the colors, everything, we did color therapy, we did feng shui, all those things to make it feel that way. So this is actually my wall of crystals and books and things like that I have for sale. As you can see, natural elements, a lot of wood. Chose the colors green and brown for grounding and balancing colors. So everything is, again, really revolving healing. That was the goal, that when you come into the space that you would instantly kind of woosah and just be able to feel grounded and connected to yourself. So this is my office, and this is where I see my clients primarily. Now, I do actually have clients that I don't see in my office. I have a lot of clients that I work with through Skype as well. But if you're here in the DC area, this is the office, and this is where I sit. This is where my client sits, and this is actually a wonderful water fountain. So this is actually a wonderful water fountain here. It's actually made of copper. It's ridiculously heavy. And in this room, this is where I do energy healing. So Reiki, chakra balancing, something called cord cutting. I do all of that in this space as well. So my clients really, really love that. They call it one of my clients calls it just feeling like you're bathed in a liquid sunshine. So this is where my clients just kind of lay out, release, receive, and come out feeling amazing. And then, if you all want to go upstairs, there's a little loft area. We got to be careful going up here. And actually, you might not need to come all the way up. But this is actually a really wonderful meditation space. So there's a beautiful skylight. So a lot of times when I'm teaching meditation, or even for myself, when I need a break in between clients, I'll come up here, meditate, take some time out for myself. So it's just a really nice, cozy space.
This has been great. So can you let everybody know where they can find you on social media? Let them know where they can find you on social media, your platforms, and how they can find you and your location for your business.
So I am Googleicious. You can literally find me everywhere. I'm the only Avalaura. So if you type in Avalaura, you will find me. That is my website, avalaura.com. That'll have the links to my Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Like I said, I'm very easy to find.
Awesome. Well, you guys heard it from Avalaura herself. Come check her out at Avalaura's Healing Center in the DMV area. Definitely come out and support her journey. If you definitely want to learn how to build yourself and grow yourself, she's the person to speak with. Until next time, Ravan, we'll catch you guys later.